two people out there. What's going on? I'm at the mall. It's actually Wednesday. I said this morning Thursday. I guess I got lost in my own mind of what day it was because I'm not working the 9 to 5s, and I wake up and don't even look at the calendar or even care what day it is. But it is Wednesday, not Thursday, and so what? I made a mistake. Just as fast as the days go by anyways, it doesn't really even matter. But some people like to be technical and, oh, he said it was Thursday, it's only Wednesday, ha 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 ha, who cares? That's just how petty we are out here, people. I don't know. Anyways, yeah, I'm at the mall. There's not a lot of people here. It's a typical weekday. That's why I said, I was looking at, starting a restaurant over here. There is two positions that I can make a restaurant in. And, it wouldn't be that difficult for me. I have the capital to do so, and I could do it right now, start it today, and it would be successful. But I don't know that I want to put all that time and effort into starting a restaurant. I would actually need like a manager and things like that, and I don't really know somebody that's good enough to handle something of that nature at this moment in time. There is two restaurants that I could do, and they would be ultimately successful here. I definitely could do it, but like I said, I would have to actually bring about 80% of all these people on the outside. I would have to bring them into the mall on an everyday occasion, and it's not too difficult for me, but it just takes up a lot of energy in that, and I don't know that I want to go through all of that. I definitely could do it. I mean, there's no problem with that, but you know how it is. Anyways, I wanted to get on to this taxi cab driving of mine. So I talked a little bit about the drunks yesterday, and today let's talk about the drug place. Okay, well, there were several drug places, but one in particular I went to non-stop, 6, 8, 10, 12 times a day, 7 days a week, just all the time, and all walks of life. I had blacks, whites, Chinese, Hispanics. I never carried any Indian people over there, but there was very few Indian people over there in Forest Park or Clayton County, period. I mean, you have a few in Morrow. Most of them are up this way where I'm at, But any case, people would get in the car and then they'd act all foolish and silly, like, I know where I'm going, but it's kind of difficult to say. It's in a 4-way stop, it's on such and such a road. I'm not going to even name the road because I don't want to get the person that owns the house into any kind of hot water. But I do know of him. He comes out of the house and waves at me even. And so this one time, this Hispanic guy, he gets in the car and, he's around about telling me where it's at and that. And I said, is this the place that you get druggists at? He looks at me and says, how do you know about it? I said, well, I go there every day. I mean, it's not that much of a surprise to me. He said, well, you can't park in the driveway. I said, well, who are you telling? I can actually park in the driveway because the owner of the place knows me. I mean, maybe not now because of how long I've not been driving, but he knew me during that time, and he would always come out the house and wave at me and everything else. But anyways, I always chose to park out on the street anyway, because a lot of them would come into the driveway and park behind me and everything else and block me in. So I always stayed outside anyhow. And he goes up to the door, he comes back, he says, thank you, amigo. And I said, yeah, you're welcome. And he was like, so how much are you going to charge me? I said, well, whatever your ride is, that's just what it is. You know, he was like, can we stop at the liquor store also? So I said, okay, so you're going to do drugs and drink also? He said, well, why not? I said, well, that's up to you, you know. If you're planning to wake up tomorrow, I guess. I don't know that I would do something like that. And he was like, what do you mean by that? I said, well, you know, some people overdose all the time, you know. It don't take a whole lot to overdose. And you're going to do drugs on top of it and drink. Well, that's on you, I guess, you know. And he was like, well, it never happened before. I said, there's always one time that it can happen, you know. And he just looked at me and smiled, you know. I was like, well, it's true. So anyways, I took him back to the house. He gave me $60 to ride him up there and then drive him back. It was all right. I mean, his ride was about $25 anyway, so, you know, $60 is $60, you know. So anyways, I've had whites, blacks, everybody get into the car and want to go to that same place. And I would prove it every time. I'd ride up in the driveway and the guy would come out of the house and wave at me, you know. He's like, how do you know him? I said, well, you know, you try to tell me. I mean, I'm here 6, 7, 8 times a day. I mean, why wouldn't I know him, you know? He owns the house and he sees my car all the time. You know, he comes out, he waves at me, goes back into the house. You know, they come out like 5 minutes later, you know. Most of the time the door opens, it has like a sliding thing on it, and it opens up and the arm comes out and hands whatever items that the people are buying, and then they hand money back to him, and that's it. It's a done deal. But as I said before, as a taxi cab driver, I cannot get in trouble for whatever anybody else has in the car. I mean, just that way. So anyways, that happened quite a few times. People getting in and saying, well, I don't know exactly where this place is, but it's on a street and it's over there near such and such. And I would be like, well, I know where it is. And they would, how do you know? How do you know? You know, it always went that way. And I told them, well, I'm a taxi cab driver. You know, I know all of these drug places. There was one just before you get to the 4-way stop on one of the side roads. It was the third house down on the left. I mean, I knew of all of them, and nobody could get anything past me. If they told me if I didn't want to go, I just wouldn't go, you know. I would tell them. Because there, you know, some of the times I just didn't feel like riding over that way, and I told them straight out. You know, I'm not going there 15, 20 times a day, 7 days a week. I'm just not going to do it. So, you know, and some of the rides were only like $6, $10, something like that. You know, it wasn't even worth it to me to go riding around like that, waiting on somebody, blah, blah, blah. So, you know, I just refused it. And they had to call somebody else and have them come and pick them up or whatever. But it happened that way sometimes. Anyways, that was part of the drug scene, you know. I got all wrapped up into that all the time, but I didn't do drugs like that. I told you all before. The only thing I ever did was smoke weed when I was young. From the time I was about 16 until, I don't know, 20, 21, I smoked weed. And other than that, nothing. I wasn't much of a drinker at all. I never really even cared for the taste. After I left my ex-girlfriend in the Philippines, the first place I went to, they were having some party or something, and they had Red Horse. That beer was nothing. I didn't even feel like I had a buzz. That's honest. I don't know. I've heard people say it's a potent beer or whatever, and they were in 40 ounces. And I drank like 3 or 4 bottles of 40 ounces. And I didn't get drunk. I didn't even feel buzzed or anything. I was like, what is this? I'm serious. I didn't feel anything. I mean, I guess because of the types of beer that I had in my lifetime, that kind of beer was just nothing, you know? I mean, I used to drink Heineken and, just all kind of German type beer and that's really, really strong in content in alcohol anyways. And that Red Horse was like nothing, and I'm just telling the truth there. It was nothing. And same with the San Miguel. I didn't get drunk. I didn't feel nothing. Absolutely nothing. But in any case, that's how it was. You know, other alcohol, sure enough, I could get drunk off of Jim Beam or Jack Daniels or something like that, sure enough. But when it came to beer, I didn't like the taste, and I didn't hardly get drunk off of beer like that. I did get drunk off of Heineken, and I can't think of the other name of the beer, but it was very high in alcohol content, you know. But other than that, just didn't do it for me. But anyways, I want y'all to know that I love you. Love yourself. Love God. And by all means, love each other, people. Until the next time, love, peace, and soul.